Howdy hi there, friends and neighbors. It's your old pal Steve, back to ask you another burning question. Does your wife grow horns and sprout a tail every time you talk about another piece of equipment for your shop? Well, mine doesn't do that. She kind of head rotates all the way around and spits green pea soup all over my shop. It's hell to clean up. Well, I found a way. Well, Dawn found a way for me to sneak it under the radar. So this project that I'm fixing to show you was all Dawn's fault. And it was a damn good thing it was. I'd like to introduce you to what Dawn thought of. I built it, Dawn thought of it, and life is good when the LiftMaster 2000 is around. You see, one of these new costs like $2,000 for a good one. You can buy one for about $700, $800. But friends and neighbors, I paid $142 for this one. But you say, Steve, how can that be? How could I save so much money? Well, you follow along in the next couple of videos and I'll show you details about how I did it. For those of you that are addicted to TikTok and what is that other one, Shorts, I'll put a little bit of that at the end of this one to wet your whistle. So if you'll notice, the LiftMaster 2000 has a resemblance to a gate opener. Yes, it does. And that's the beauty of the whole thing. You see, one day Don was sitting in front of my shop looking at my scrap trailer, which was loaded down with these babies, going to the recycle yard. He looked at me and he said, what you going to do with all those? I said, well, I take them off people's gates and recycle them when we put new gate motors on. I got thinking, I said, well, why? What would you do with it, Don? And out of his mouth came the words that have haunted me for 3 years now. I'd make a rotating welding device out of that. Yes, sir, Bob. Out of the mouth of babes. So over the years, I've thought of what to do. I've collected a big amount of different ones so I can show you what you actually need to make it happen on the inside. They're not all made alike. This one is the LiftMaster 2000. It comes with an access port, a custom access port. Well, it really didn't need to be there, but something else distracted me. It was probably Don's fault too. I can't get the thing around. You know, this is so easy, even a guy in a wheelchair can make it, but I can't get it over its cord. Isn't that silly? There we go. Looky down here. Yes, sir, Bob, that's your speed control, your forward and reverse. And then you can make it go faster or slow. That's for you slow welders out there. I like it. Like I say, I got $142 in it. Got some old casters on the bottom. This is another part of Don's fault. You see, I got sick, and last year I'd taken a piece of a molding for Clark to make me. It's about this big, and he hadn't had time, and then I got sick, and well, I needed this to finish the project, you see. Don opened his mouth again and says, why don't you buy a cast iron weight? They're all over Facebook Marketplace. Bingo! I looked, bought that one for 20 bucks. I even bought another one for another machine I'm going to be showing you later down the road. This one could have been made into one that would angle pretty easily, but I don't know if I'd ever need that. Now, a horizontal one I would, but guess what? They make horizontal models of this that are going to be just as easy to convert. Now, I ripped every bit of the electrical parts out of this cabinet. The only thing left is a 24-volt DC motor. And that's what's powering this table. And by taking a speed control, I can adjust this down, the motor speed, to barely going around from its already slow speed. So it just was a brilliant idea to do this. Now, folks, this thing is simple to make. Inside this machine is a 24-volt DC motor that drives a gear reduction that has an output shaft to a chain. The chain drives another gear reduction to give it slow speed, because you don't want a Speedy Gonzales gate. No, they go too fast. So it's already inherently slow rotation by the transmissions. The motors are always good in these things. I haven't ever replaced a motor in one of these. By the time the motor wears out, it's time to replace the whole operator. The transmissions, everything's good, the mechanical part. It's the electronics that fall. So I get rid of all of the electronics. I got rid of all well, I'll show you how much I got rid of. There's the top part where the gate attaches. Now that'll come in handy for you people that don't have a lathe. You put that on here and drill a few holes in it. You can bolt a table to it and already have that hole for the 2.5-inch diameter shaft that comes up. And like I said, I ripped all the electrics out of that thing. This is the position sensor. This is where wires go to the transformer, and don't need any of that. I don't want any of that. There's an old chain that came with it. What I needed was a reliable spinning machine that was somewhat easy to make, and I didn't want to rely on old electronics to make it do this. So, bought this off of, I think, Amazon. At the time it was about 30 bucks. 20 bucks and 30 bucks. Inside is a new 24-volt supply that's powering the whole thing. Yeah, I'll show this in the wiring when we get to that point. Simple, simple, simple. That's it. Now, Steve, where can I find one of these marvelous machines? Well, you're going to have to build it. But the question should be is, where am I going to find one of these old gate operators? Well, if you got a scrapyard nearby, just make it known that you want to buy one. Tell me, give them 50 bucks for it. And they'll jump at the chance. Go to a gate repair shop that people like me repair gates. You know, I had a ton of these things. And for a select few people, if you want to come out to my shop outside of Houston, I think I have 4 more different kinds. But I'll explain that when we get outside and show you all the different kinds there are. You know, make a lot about it being Don's fault. And it is usually. Oh, and I got another way to save you time and effort and money. You know, I've got horizontal surface disease. I've run out of horizontal surfaces, so I had to do something quick. Well, I bought another horizontal surface. And yesterday, Rick Denny was here. He's one of the channel members from up north. Stopped by to see me, and he helped me put this thing together. This is a pretty good thing. I already have one that I made into a computer desk, workstation, and everything. So now all this stuff's going to go into this one. It's got 2 nice drawers like this. And so I'm going to put the basic tools that I use while I'm crippled up here and make it easier on me. But I've got to get you out of the way right now. See, this horizontal surface clutter goes everywhere. Even the lathe is not immune to it. Speaking of immune, I went to the doctor today for my rehabilitation, and I noticed when I got out of there that I should go get a flu shot coming up. In their dreams. Now, I've, much to the dismay of my wife, been saving a lot of different kind of operators so I could turn them into something and show you what you need to look for. Now, don't pay any mind to those over there. Those are just empty cases. This is an older model LiftMaster. And by the way, about the only operator I would ever install if I could do work again is the LiftMaster brand. This is for slide gates. You see that sprocket on the side? That's where the chain goes. If you put some wheels on that and put a 6 or 8 inch vise on the end of that shaft, change the electrics down to what I've done, and you got a horizontal one. Now, this is kind of a hybrid. This one had a battery backup system, and if you notice, there's this motor, then the transmission. You don't need that chain right there because that's just for positional. You just need basically that horizontal motor and that DC motor. I think this is a 12 volt. Anyway, it works fine for this project too. Look for that one. If you see one that's just got a electric motor on it, an AC/DC motor, AC motor, it's not going to work because you can't control the speed. But that right there is what you want to find. Now, this one over here, I forgot what it is. I think it's a Viking. But it has a top post on top that you could easily make into a rotary. If you look over there, there's a huge motor on that side. I think that one's 24 volt. But all you need is that motor and this gear reduction to make it work. You don't need any of these electronics, and I wouldn't advise using any of them. But heck, it might burn up and kill you. And I am not responsible for that. That's why I'm just giving you the general idea. You'll have to figure it out for yourself. Now this is an older model LiftMaster, similar to what I've got going in there. If you notice down on the bottom, it's got that same DC motor that was over on that other one. Well, this one was when they started direct coupling it. It was turned over on its side, so the oil came out of those two transmissions. There's little vents into the top of that transmission, and if you lay them down wrong, it'll spew all the oil out, and you can't really make it lean over without plugging those and providing another air source. But this one here will take 24 volts. You don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need this. You got a nice framework. You could cut this at an angle and put a hinge on it, and you can make that flop down to any angle you wanted. I like that too. Now, this is a more modern LiftMaster. As you see, it's got the chain right there. You don't need these, you don't need that. All you're concerned with is this motor and that transmission. This is a sensor positioning for that. You don't need it, so you can get rid of it. Now these all have, I forgot what you call that, but that's what converts AC to DC. Bridge rectifier, something like that. And buried somewhere in here, whoa, don't get me, boy, don't get me. Crap, they really buried it. Is another AC Toradoro. I never can pronounce that right. Full of copper. It's back in there somewhere. Anyway, after you kill yourself trying to turn one of these over to show your friends who are going to be wanting to build one of the LiftMaster 2000s. You can figure out where it is. Now this one, it should be right down in there somewhere. If possible, these kind are the best. Now the one I have, that one made out of, has a different motor and doesn't use that huge coupling down there. It's got just a direct drive motor mounted up to it. These are some old top mount swing gate holders. That'd work perfect. Work perfect for you. See, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the top mounts here that I'm never going to do anything with. I'm not going to ship them, but if you live close enough, I'll give you one. You have to come out to Navasota, Texas. But speak up soon, because they may be going to the scrap pile if you don't. Horizontal ones, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 5 horizontals. Anyway, that's just something that you need to look for if you're finding one of these things. That 12-volt motor or a 24-volt motor is what you want. So then you can get rid of all of that stuff and start new. My wife said, get rid of all that stuff right now. So I'm trying, dear. I'm really trying. Can't start cleaning up pea soup anymore. I have a hard enough time getting in and out of the door. There's a scraping job. Can't pick up the scraper just yet, but someday I will. There's the table that is planed, ready to go on my Bridgeport project when I can get back on it. If you guys got problems with mice, I tried some of this stuff and it worked. You know, when I came home from the hospital this time, I was kind of surprised to find that there was a leak in my bathroom. Well, my friend came over and started digging around, and he discovered the cause of my leak. A damn mouse had come in and started just making my world wet. And that's not the only one. I got 3 or 4. My friend said if a mouse gets to chewing on this, it's like they become addicted. Even if there's no water in it, which there was at the time, they go to town. When I came back from the hospital a 3 years ago when I had a heart attack, I was only gone for 6 days. I walked into the grinding room, and my John Dow oil extraction unit had sprung a leak on the bottom, and oil went everywhere. I'm not going to get sick with anything anymore. My God, I don't know what else would happen. Anyway, now I thought this was a pretty good project, and I wanted to show it to you guys. And like I said, good luck with it. Hope it works fine. It goes slow enough for me to weld on, pretty easy. I mean, and it goes fast enough for you fast people. That's its normal speed, the highest speed as it's running in the gate mode. Excuse me, there it is. So I can come back and stop it and reverse it easy. Life is good. Oh, and before I forget, he also climbed up and put my Texas sign up for me. Thanks, guys. And as usual, anything in this video is Don's fault. Now, this is after I took that big ring off. And this is a honeycomb structure they have that sits between this shaft adapter and this plate. Now, this plate spins by itself underneath there, and it's isolated from this. Maybe we could put this on this thing as a backup alarm for when it's going backwards. I did put a truck bumper back up along on one of my telescopes that I made. We'll keep that. And we don't need this. Well, that's the piece I was making. And for no guy that can't walk and can't hardly lift anything, it looks pretty good. Now, this is the shaft that I wanted it to go on.